Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 series I'm going to read in 2020. Yes, I'm back. It's been a while, I know, but I wanted to take a break during the Christmas and New Year's just to be with my family and spend some time with them. But yes, I am back and I'm ready to make some videos. I've had a glow up recently. I don't know if you can tell, but I've had a little change with the camera situation because I've actually got a new camera and I'm so happy with it, and I hope you guys are too. So yeah, I'm really excited to make more exciting content for you guys and with a little bit more quality to it. Let's jump right into the video. I really want to read these series in 2020, and it's not all the series I'm going to be reading in 2020. There's a lot more I want to read, but these top 10 are going to be my priority. As you know, I read a lot of fantasy, so all these series will be fantasy based. So the first series I want to tackle is the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Altogether, there are 6 books in this series, and I know that the Mistborn trilogy is very popular in the booktube community, and not a lot of people talk about the trilogy after the trilogy. So I want to tackle all 6 books, and yeah, that's gonna be a challenge, but I am excited. I don't know too much about this series, and I do want to go into it blind because recently my mom actually read the whole series, the Mistborn series, and she told me not to know too much going into the series. So the tagline actually for this series is, "What if the Dark Lord won?" So that's already intriguing in its own way, so I can't wait to read these. Also, I'm trying not to say I'm excited for any of these series because obviously I'm excited for these series. So let's just hope I don't say excited one too many times. The first book in the series is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. The second book of this series is The Well of Ascension. The third book in the series is The Hero of Ages. The fourth book in the series is The Alloy of Law. The fifth book in the series is called Shadows of Self. And the sixth book in the series is called The Bands of Mourning. So that's all the 6 books in the Mistborn series. The second series that I want to read in 2020 is also a Brandon Sanderson series, and it's called the Stormlight Archive. And again, I have zero knowledge about what this series is about. And again, as I said, I want to go into Brandon Sanderson's books just unaware of what is happening in those books. I just want to go in and experience it blindly. So the first book is called The Way of Kings. The second book is called Words of Radiance. And the third book is called Oathbringer. Brandon Sanderson also recently tweeted that his 4th book of the Stormlight Archive is coming in November of this year, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully by then I would have read all 3 of those books so I can move on to the 4th. The third series I want to read this year is the Red Rising saga by Pierce Brown. I read Red Rising, which is the first book of this series, last year, and I absolutely love it so much, and I haven't continued with the series only because I just prioritized other books than this series. But this year, I'm definitely going to prioritize this series and try and finish it because I absolutely loved the first one. This book is about a world set in Mars far into the future where society is now categorized into colors. The reds being the lowest, almost viewed as slaves, and the gold being the highest, almost worshipped like gods. We follow Darrow, who is a red, and he finds out that the golds have been slaving reds for a long time now, and he wants to take revenge. In order to do that, he has to become a gold himself and infiltrate their institute and bring down the regime. That's basically what the series is about, and I do understand that the first 3 books follow Darrow, and then the next 3 books are different. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard. So the first book is called Red Rising. The second book is Golden Sun. The third book is Morning Star. The fourth book is Iron Gold. And the fifth book is called Dark Ages. The fourth series I want to read is called the Gentleman's Bastard series by Scott Lynch. In this series, we follow Locke, who becomes a thief just to survive. He becomes the leader of a band of misfits called the Gentleman's Bastards. And we basically follow Locke and his band of misfits. So the first book is called The Lies of Locke Lamora. The second book is called Red Seas Under Red Skies. And the third book is called The Republic of Thieves. I actually know this series because of Prue's project, Reagan, and she raves about this series, so I can't wait to read this year. The fifth series I want to read this year is called The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I know recently she released a spin-off series called The Hawk Down that was released last year, I believe, and I think that was like the turning point for me. I was like, I need to read this series so I can read Called The Hawk Down. I am really excited to read this series because it just seems like a fun series full of adventure, and I can't wait to follow these amazing characters that everyone talks about. So yeah, I'm really excited. We follow Blue, who lives with her clairvoyant mother, and she basically becomes friends with these boys called the Raven Boys. And they go on adventures and find ley lines and also try and defeat the Raven King. And yeah, that's all I know about this series, and I'm really, really excited to start this series. The first book is called The Raven Boys. The second book is called The Dream Thieves. The third book is called Blue Lily, Lily Blue. And the fourth book is called The Raven King. The sixth series I want to read is called the Nevernight series by Jay Kristoff. I've heard so many things about this series. I know recently I think booktuber called Pierre Forday, I don't know if that's her name, but I know she recently filmed and released a Nevernight adaptation, so on YouTube actually, so I can't wait to read the books and then watch that. I know this series is very dark and it's full of assassins and assassin school, and I know we follow a girl called Mia Corvair, and she's basically going to assassin school because she wants to take revenge on the people who killed her parents. The first book is called Nevernight, the second book is called God's Grave, and the third book is called Dark Dawn, which I believe was released last year. Now, the seventh series, or duology, if I might add, is something that probably everyone and their mother has read. Even my mother has read. And it's the Six of Crows duology. I haven't read this series for a very specific reason. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy last year and I absolutely hated it. And because of that experience, I really didn't want to go back into the Grishaverse very soon. Because the whole reason I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy is to basically read the Six of Crows duology. But because I really hated that trilogy and it ruined the Grishaverse for me, I just never picked up the Six of Crows duology. But I think enough time has passed, and now I think I should pick up Six of Crows duology because everyone's telling me to. From what I understand, we follow basically a ragtag group of people and they try and pull off a heist. That's it. That's all I know. And everyone loves these characters and they talk about them all the time. I see them everywhere and I just can't wait to get to know these characters and fall in love with them. The first book, of course, is called Six of Crows, and the second book is called Crooked Kingdom. The eighth series I want to read this year is called the Folk of the Air series, but also known as the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black. This series is very loved by almost everyone I've interacted with, and I am very, very, again, excited to read this series, mostly because it's about fairies and fae, so I really, really love fae stories, basically because of Sarah J. Maas. So I'm really excited to read more about the fae and the fairies, because I know this type of fae is more darker, more sinister, more cruel than the fae we're used to in Sarah J. Maas books. In Cruel Prince, we follow Jude, whose parents were murdered, and her and her sisters get stolen away by fairies. There she basically tries to fit in, and she meets Carden, who is the Cruel Prince. And I think There's a love to hate romance there, I'm not too sure, but I love me some good hate to love romance. The first book is called Cruel Prince, the second book is called The Wicked King, and the third book is called The Queen of Nothing. This cover is beautiful. The ninth series, or shall I say trilogy, that I want to read this year is called Chaos Walking by Patrick Ness. This series is also better known as The Knife of Never Letting Go. We follow a world called the New World, where basically there's only men that exist because there's a germ that killed all the women in that particular world. We follow Todd, who can basically hear all the thoughts of the men in the town. And he finds out that the town is actually hiding something from him, and since he's scared, him and his dog run away from that town. Todd and his dog then stumble across this girl in the forest who was supposed to be dead and killed by the germ. Yes, that synopsis was very intriguing, and again, so excited to read it. The first book, of course, is called The Knife of Never Letting Go. The second book is called The Ask and the Answer. And the third book is called Monsters of Men. The last series I want to read this year is the Diviners series by Libba Bray. This book takes place in the 20s, and it's very fitting because everyone's calling this year the new 20s. We follow this girl called Evie who has a very special gift, and she's going to use this gift to solve the murders that are happening around New York City. So very exciting, some fantasy, some murder mystery. It's going to be great. So the first book is obviously called The Diviners. The second book is called The Lair of Dreams. The third book is called Before the Devil Breaks You. And the fourth book is called King of Crows, which comes out on the 4th of February this year. So yeah guys, that's all the series I want to read this year, and I'm so excited to get to all of them. I absolutely love fantasy series. Fantasy is just basically what got me into reading, so I can't wait to read more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!